On this episode of Curious Journey, a lover's tragedy turns a humble cemetery into a local legend. Join us as we explore Loma China, also known as the Chinese Graveyard. But first, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share this video as your support keeps the channel going. And now, let's visit the story tied to a lonely private cemetery south of San Antonio, Texas. Carlos was a handsome young man from an established landowning family, and during one of his excursions into town, he crosses paths with a young woman. She was Chinese, and to Carlos, she was the most beautiful girl he'd ever seen. Wang Li had recently arrived to Texas from California. A first-generation Chinese American, her family hoped to start a new life, working the farms and eventually owning property of their own. And to her, Carlos was a strikingly handsome man, so it was no surprise when they fell in love. But both of their families did not approve. It was the early 1900s in America, and separation between races was the norm. Carlos's family forbade him from seeing Wang Li, as did Wang Li's family ban her from seeing Carlos. Their love, however, would not be tamed. In fact, it intensified. Their resolve to be with each other driving them, their longing to be in each other's arms too strong to ignore. They arranged to meet at Carlos's family's cemetery at night, since no one would be there, and it worked for a while. On his way to their latest rendezvous, Carlos was struck by lightning, killing him instantly as well as his horse. He was buried in the very same cemetery. When Wang Li finds out, she rushes to the cemetery, and upon finding his gravesite, she is overcome with soul-crushing sadness. She drinks poison, then lies down next to his grave to be with him for all eternity. But the story does not end there. In the years and decades since, many people have reported strange happenings in the cemetery. Strange lights that move, brighten, then fade, as well as other apparitions. A white mist that coalesces into the shape of an Asian woman dressed in white and happens to be 7 feet tall. If you park near the gate and flash your lights, she will appear. She will coalesce from a mist, taking shape, then glare at you as she approaches with evil intent. Many don't stick around though and peel off into the night. The notoriety of the cemetery grew with every report. The curious, the criminal, and the eccentric came in larger numbers, and eventually turned from minor annoyances to defilers of the worst kind. But is there any truth to the strange happenings at the Loma China cemetery? I tend to think there just may be something going on. The eyewitness accounts over 5 or 6 decades are too numerous to discount outright. And what is it with the 7-foot-tall Asian woman? It seems like such a wild oddity. I researched Asian folklore to see if there were any clues, and as it turns out, there is a Japanese legend that talks about an entity known as a Hachi Shakuzama, which literally translates to 8-foot-tall woman. This legend is in turn based on an even older group of entities known as Onryo, or vengeful spirits. Women who were wronged during life and turned into demons seeking revenge after death. The odds that someone in the America of the early 20th century knew this much about Asian folklore seems unlikely. Perhaps the beautiful Wang Li transformed into her version of an Onryo to guard her lover's tomb in a small, humble cemetery for all eternity. Hey, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will know when new videos are ready. Thanks again for your support. See you later.